Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground, each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. It's a Tuesday night. You know what that means. Challenge rocks. So I got some more stuff that looks like bull gravel right there. I got a piece of weird chert right there, and a challenging looking tabular piece of chert. So those are our samples for tonight. I might only get to one of them, but I'm going to try to break into all of them at first and see what they look like. You can't judge a rock by its cover, so you don't know what's going to happen. I have a feeling, though, that they're not going to be that great. But you never know. And we might even get into a discussion about crushed edge technology. Yeah, because it's awesome. It's cool. Alright, so Mr. Jim is the first one in the house. Hey, Talkenstein. Bill is here. Hey guys. Stoneface is here. Red Lemur is here. Your laughter is here. Jeremy is here. Stoneface. Let's see. No, the alien worm rock is gone. It's not gone. I still got it on the shelf. I'm never getting rid of it. No. It's always going to be on my sign. Yeah. I gotta make sure I display that every live stream if the question comes up. Alan Cole is here. Steve Salzgiver is here. Mr. Jim is here. Tommy Taylor. Miguel is here. Good evening. Let's see. Who else? Who else? David. I can't pronounce your last name, whatever that is. Right? Yeah, I can. I don't understand. I know that the first part is David, but I can't pronounce the other part. Augusta Stories. I'm not sure what that means either. Let's see, who else? Who else? Oh, bull gravel is always fun. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm thinking, but we'll see. Sam Folks cutting up cut-ups. Yeah. Yeah. So that song is by Danny Collins. Intro music provided by Danny Collins. I can tell who's not reading the description of the live streams. Let's see. 30K views on last night's live. Yeah, Mr. Jim's reading the stats. Yeah, 30K views. We'll see what happens this time. Probably not as many. Law of averages will catch up. Chris Cox is here. Good evening. Ross Wellman is here. Hey, Patrick. Who's Patrick? Ed Gould, hello, hello. AM Outdoors gives a little yay sign, or whatever that sign means. Not saying it's not a good thing. I just don't know what that sign means. Whoops. Let me see. Is that it? I reached the end of the chat already? Okay. Alright, so let's see what we got. I'm a little late. Yeah, I was a little late today because I ate dinner a little late. Yeah, I was just finishing up dinner. I didn't want to leave it for later. So this is from Ballinger. So this might not be landscape rock or bull gravel. What else is there? Did I write on this one? I did not write on this one. The stuff I got from Ballinger is from Drew's Concrete. That's his YouTube name. His name is Drew, and his YouTube name is Drew's Concrete because he works with concrete. Yeah. So let's see what we got. Let me put 2 gloves on because I have a feeling I'm going to need to smack this exceedingly hard. I got a feeling, but you never know. All right, let's see. I get to use my modern tools, which is always excellent. Always excellent. It makes life so much more pleasant. Ooh, it might be something good. It feels like it's gonna be good. All right. Whoa. I don't know. This is too good for us. Yeah. I'm going to have to put this in a separate little basket. This is too good for us. I don't want that. I don't want to nap something really, really good. And this is probably raw. High-grade chert. Yeah, it actually does stuff that you want it to do. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not able to judge this by its cover. I get a lot of stuff like this that naps like crud, but for some reason, Drew is able to find the stuff that's really good. That's amazing. Yeah, it actually does stuff. Yeah. it reacts cooperatively. Although it's got some issues near the cortex, like it's been tumbled in a river or something, but other than that. Or maybe it's just heat damage from natural fire. See, it's got some weirdness. It could be heat damage. But again, you cannot judge a rock by its cover. You cannot say for sure what that is. Just by looking at it, you can just guess. Unless you're a geologist, and then that's your job to figure it out. I'm not a geologist. Although I could probably go back to school and be a geologist and then get a few extra bucks, like $2 more for each live stream, because I know why it does that near the cortex. I can get an extra $2 because people will say, cool, he knows why it does that. So I'll watch for like 1 more minute before I start changing the channel so I can watch girls make pizza. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? I go to school again for like 3 years to be a geologist, and then I get paid an extra $2 per live stream. That'd be awesome. Let's see, what are we going to do? That one didn't travel. I don't know why that didn't travel. It wasn't like it was not a perfect platform. It's not like I was hitting way above centerline or anything. I could probably hit that and knock that off like this. Yeah, like that. Like that. Like that. See? Oh, that, I think I might actually nap that one. I feel like napping that piece into another small arrowhead. We had a good discussion last night because people really don't understand too much about atlatl dart points. So whenever I make an atlatl dart point and haft it to an atlatl dart foreshaft, it's like, I don't know about that so much, right? But as soon as I get into arrows, there's a lot of arrow experts out there, so-called. Yeah. So we had a good discussion last night. There it is. Mr. Jim 4099, please don't start making pizzas. No. It's tempting though, right? I get tons of I would get tons of views if I started making pizzas. Yeah. Not as much as the pizza girls do, but you know, if I started a cooking channel, I could put my Flintknapping and engineering background to good use on a cooking channel. Yeah. Alan Cole says he likes the small points. Yeah. I am so glad I'm not the only one. Yeah. I want to try to make an interesting small point. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can make a biface. Where's my other biface? See, the other biface is in the other. Remember that rock? This is too good for us too. That from Drew's Concrete provided for us. This is too good for us. I'm gonna make whatever I make out of this. I might put this in the auction as a finished point. But whatever I make out of this stuff, I think I'm gonna put it in my keeper case that I'm finally going to develop. Yeah. Last night I made this, so I can make another one like that out of this stuff. But it's not going to be a CUNY, it's going to be something else. And it's not going to be no AG point either. No. I might make a haze point. I like those. Better than the AGs. Clovis night, said Mr. Jim. One of these days, perhaps. And I'm not even kidding. I might actually do it. Yeah, because I thought about it a lot lately. What am I gonna do when the dum-dums start commenting that I'm not doing it right? I'll just ban them. Yeah, so they can't put their little dum-dum comments in the comment section. Yeah, I'll just start banning people. because I've never banned anyone. I'll put them in timeout. Yeah. I'm thinking about just banning them. Yeah. That's it. No more shenanigans. Somebody wants to see the flute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll try on one of these. This is too good for fluting because the chances of breaking it go up significantly with the fluting. So you never want to flute something that's too good. Never.
Yeah, but when they did it back in the day, they looked for exoticals and they made Clovises out of exotical stuff. So what's the problem?
You know why they find Clovises made of exotics? Because those are the ones they didn't break because they didn't use them to shoot at stuff. They saved them because they were so pretty. Yeah. They didn't get used. They were ornamental. Yeah. And then people come back in modern days and they say, hey, they used exotic stuff for Clovises. Look at that. We got a lot of exotic Clovises. That means they used to shoot mammoths with exotics. Yeah. Because that's a smart thing to think about. I'm so smart. Well, if they shot them with exotics, you would see impact damage and then resharpenings and all that on the exotics. But is that the case? Or are they finding stuff that's intact made of exotics? I think it's the latter case. Yeah. Your laughter says he saw that hagstone from the auction. Did you see it in the auction? Or did you watch the video? Or did someone post it? See, I forget who bought it. Chris Lithic says, I'm still trying to figure out how to gift. It's one of the buttons around here somewhere. I don't know. Whenever I gift somebody, I just do a super chat. If I'm watching a live stream and I want to gift some money, I just do a super chat. It's very efficient. It builds my account. Yeah. So it knows where to get the money when I do a super chat. It's almost instant. It's just waiting for me to do a super chat when I'm on someone else's live stream. Let's see. Eric Kitty says, that looks like a present. T. Willison says, I found a few broken flint ridge points in the field by my house in eastern Illinois. Were they colorful flint ridge points? Were they broken exactly in half? Sometimes when you find something broken exactly in half, it's called a killed point, which means it's a funeral offering in some cases. They'll make a nice fancy point and then they'll break it intentionally in half and then offer it as a funeral offering as part of the ceremony. I don't know why they would kill it, but it has something to do with the afterlife. Anyways, you gotta take the full context into account. And if there's no context, then you don't know what it was for. Like if you just find it on the surface, you don't know the context behind the item. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying we need to, if we wanted to explore that, we need more context. Yep. Oh, this was too nice for us, yeah. All right, this deserves its own little basket. Okay. I got baskets. I got baskets just for this purpose. I got prepared. So this, and plus all the good flakes. And let's get this out of the way before a big old rock hits it. We're going to save the big flakes for me. Yes. We are. You and I are going to save these flakes for me. Yeah. You can't have it. This is gift rock anyway. Yeah. I can be greedy with the gift rock. I'm not greedy with the rock that I buy myself. You know, if I spend money on it, I'm thinking I need to get some return on it. But if it's a gift, I get to keep it. Oh, yes, I do. All right. Yeah, I can keep it. I can keep it, and I will keep it. Look at that. How beautiful. All right. Let's see what we got out of this. Oh, let's see what we can get out of this. Yeah, you're just going to keep it and make a bunch of rubble. Let's see. Let's see. Appalachia says hi. What's up, fellers? Hey, Fertile Joe. Bushy is here. Is Jay in the house? Bill MW says, those steel pressure flakers Patrick uses, is it a flattened nail? That's right, right. Or just a file down screwdriver. Yeah, it's a flattened, like 20 penny nail. 20 penny nail. You can get 20 penny nails at your hardware store if your hardware store is not lame. If it's lame, you need to go across country to get to another hardware store. Get some 20 penny nails. Yeah. Go as far as you need to go to get the 20 pennies because they're good. You know what? This isn't too bad. I never heard of 20 penny nails. What are you talking about? I think that's a bunch of BS. No. Believe it or not. I've asked, you know, I can understand why you might think that because I've asked people at hardware stores if they have 20 penny nails and they look at me like I'm from Mars. Wait a second. Is this a life form? It's trying to communicate with me. It's saying something about pennies. And what was that other thing? Oh yeah, the number 20. He's fixated with the number 20. I don't know if it's a life form or some kind of weird mechanism. That's what they look at me like this, like I'm not human. Yeah. Why would I ask a question like that? Yeah, there is such thing as 20 penny nails. Back in the day, people at hardware stores actually used to know a lot more than they know now. I know that's a shocker, I know. I think we all know that. You know, this has got damage in it, right? You can see it. I thought the other one was going to be like this, but nope. But this one lived up to the looks. It looked like it was going to be a challenge, so it has lived up to the look of it. But let's try to get rid of all the nasties. See that? That's all cruddy. Fertile Joe says, I would make that rock into a skipping stone ASAP. Looks like riverbend stuff, says Eric Kitty. It's Texas rock. This is all Texas rock from probably near Ballinger, Texas. Has anyone looked that up? No? Has anyone actually driven over to Ballinger and did a little site search? No? I bet you there's some rock hounds out there that have been watching my show. They've already been to Ballinger. So before you get there, it's going to be gone anyway. Those rock hounds know what they're doing. They've probably already been to Ballinger 2 or 3 times looking for this stuff. Because look at it. Look how beautiful it is. I can't believe it. It's remarkable. Come on. Now, am I contributing to the misery by telling people where it's from? Because now they'll have to go out there and waste their time looking for it and not find it. Actually, some people, for some reason, they have good luck when looking for stones just by hearing about where it is in general. They get a nose for finding stuff if they just have a little bit of a hint. They're persistent or something. Me, I have to know the exact spot. Or I have to have a guide, actually. Not only do I have to know the exact spot, but I have to have a guide take me exactly, walk up to it and point. That rock right there. Oh yeah, I didn't see it the other day. Am I that bad? I can be, yes. Yeah. Yep. Because if it doesn't match what I have in my brain, I can look right at it and not see it. You know, I develop a mental picture of something. I had that problem all my life. I have a mental picture of something, like if someone tells me to go, can you get this thing at the store? I'm asked, I say, oh no, better. Can you help me find, let's say, my purse? Like my ex-wife used to ask me, can you help me find my purse? Yes. Okay, I need the color and the size of it. Okay, so she tells me the color and about approximate size. All right, so I'm looking around for it. And I can look directly at it. And if it doesn't match the color and size that I have in my brain, I won't even see it. What purse? I don't see no purse. The one that was right in front of you, that was it. That's it? That's not even a purse. That's like a fanny pack and the color's a little bit off. Yeah, but that's what I've been using as a purse. Okay, so that's like me and rocks. If I have something in my mind and I can kind of look at it, and then, especially if I'm tired or whatever, I'll just go, I don't know if I want to even look at that, or we'll just look around for some other stuff. That kind of thing. Now, it's not quite as bad when I'm in the proper mood. I will check everything. I will actually pick up almost everything that looks okay and start testing it. But on some days, yeah, and I'll be hunting rocks with a buddy of mine or something, and he's finding stuff, and I'm walking over stuff and not seeing it. And he's saying, hey, you missed it. Didn't you see it? You walked right over this. I said, I walk over what? This. Look at it. Oh, dang. That is good. I wasn't even looking for that stuff. How can you not see it though? It looks like it's got nappable surfaces. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention. So that's how it goes. So me looking for rocks is a mixed bag. I don't know how the people do it to always find the rocks. With just a slight hint of where it is and what it is. It's funny because they become rock hounds. It's funny how that works, huh? They become rock hounds and they start selling rocks. They get the nose for it. Me, I will never be selling rocks. No. Hey, the Feathered Frontiersman is here. He says, hey, Pat, I'm here. Lily says, did you check out Phil Harding in Salisbury? No, if you're talking to me, I did not. Nope. Papa Badger says, can you find rock to work with around Niagara Falls, Canada? Yes, it's called Onondaga chert, I believe. It's a gray rock. It's a chert. Now, I don't know about, are you talking like within 1 mile of Niagara Falls or within 50 miles of Niagara Falls? Because most people would say, I went to the Niagara Falls Park and
I noticed there's rocks there. The falls are they tumble over rocks. Are any of those rocks nappable? They want to know exactly right there at Niagara Falls if there's nappable rocks, because that's where they went to visit. I'm not saying a response to that. In general, yes, there are nappable rocks in that area of the country, but you got to go like within 50 miles, 50 miles of that park. I'm not saying there's some right there at the falls. Let's see. I'm in Colorado. Any good spots? In Colorado? Any good spots? You must be new here. Yeah. He don't know us too well, do he? We're not going to tell you any good spots. Why? Because as soon as we tell you good spots, like on a chat like this, the rock hounds will get there before you do. They're watching. We got 147 people watching. Some of those guys are rock hounds. They've got us in the background and they're listening. Just in case we spill the beans, they're going to run out there. They don't care if it takes them 3 minutes, 3 days, or 3 weeks to get to that spot. They will get there before you do. So, I'll tell you where it is. You'll go out there and it'll be gone because the rock hounds already get there. That's how lucrative getting good rocks is these days. Yeah. Believe it or not. I exaggerate, but it's almost that bad. Yeah, Andrew Humphrey knows. He lives in Ohio and drove 28 hours to find obsidian. Yeah, I'm living in Vermont now. I travel 36 hours to Texas twice a year. 36 hours both way, each way. I had to make, last time I went to Texas, I also went to New Mexico. I put 5,000 miles on my car and it already indicated that I needed an oil change. I changed the oil before I left. When I came back, I needed another oil change. That's how many miles I travel. And I'm not even a rock hound. Yeah. Lord Spivey says, in Georgia, you can find flint everywhere. Yeah, just move to Georgia. All these guys. You guys in Colorado, move to Georgia. Because there's Knappings in Georgia. There's warm weather. There's no Colorado cold weather. There's rocks. There's good food. I don't know what else. There's seacoast. Why would you want to be in Colorado without seacoast? Move to Georgia. That's my answer. Is there any good spots in Colorado? Move to Georgia. Yeah, Idaho, same thing. On the Snake River where Evel Knievel tried to jump, says Andrew Humphrey. I see. Papa Badger says, we have tons of flint as well. Ed Gould says, hey. What are you doing, Ed? You already said hey earlier. You guys are funny. What else we got? Any other questions or comments or complaints? It's easy to lose the sarcasm in text form. Who said that? Let's see. Mr. Pac-Man, it's easy to lose the sarcasm. Well, if you lose it, I think it's funny. If you get the sarcasm, I also think it's funny. So it's funny either way. Yeah. Wait. There's no such thing as crash test technology? I thought... Wait. When you put these words together, that means it's true, right?
That's funny if you think that way. It's also funny when you'll get the sarcasm, we can both chuckle. Yeah. So it's funny either way. You get it? Bill asks, if I buy a knapping tool set, what do you recommend? For the tool set or for rocks? because I don't recommend rocks to begin with. I recommend bottle bottoms. But it has to be bottle glass. Don't get all crazy and start napping all kinds of different kinds of glass. Because you'll say, wait a minute, bottle glass. Okay, do I get it from a TV? No, it's from a bottle. Okay, do I get it from window panes? No, that's window pane glass. Okay, do I get it from glass shelves? No, that's glass shelves. Okay, do I get it from glass doors? No, that's the glass on the doors. Bottle bottom glass. You mean dishes? No, bottle bottoms. Holy moly. Why bottle bottoms? Because that particular type of glass has just the right properties to be friendly to the new guys. Okay? That's the only way I can explain it. Hey, Rockin' Pop's Adventures is here. So you meant the napping tool set. So where do you get the napping tools? You go to Danny Collins' website, Flintknappingtraditions.com. That's the first person I recommend. Now, I buy stuff off of Flintknappingsupplies.com. That's where I get these. I get these off of Flintknappingsupplies.com. Yeah, sorry, Danny. That's where I bought these too. Flintknappingsupplies.com. But I always recommend Danny Collins' website. I've bought rock from Danny Collins. If I'm going to buy rock, I'll buy it from Danny Collins or from Kurt's Church. Kurt's Church on Facebook. Those are my first two choices if I buy rock. Jeff Head also has lots of Georgia, Flint River. So those three guys, Danny Collins, Curtis Smith from Kurt's Church, or Jeff Head. His last name is spelled Head, just the way it sounds. Kurt's Church and Jeff Head are both on Facebook. Danny Collins is on the web. He's got a website, Flintknappingtraditions.com. So he has rocks and tools. Everything all in one spot. And a YouTube channel. That's Danny Collins. Okay? All right. Now, there's other places you can buy stuff, but that's always the first person that I recommend because he supports this channel quite a bit. Okay? Mike Mason says, I think bottle bottoms can be frustrating and limiting for good nappers. Like, it likes to humble everyone. Yeah, but see, it humbles you because it shows you that you're messing up. When I nap my bottle bottom, I know if it's me or the glass. It's never the glass. It's always me that's messing up. So that's important. It's not the bottle bottom glass that's messing up. It's you. So it helps you to know that it's you that needs to improve. That's why bottle bottoms with that particular type of glass is good for beginners. Because if you're messing it up, it's not the glass. Get it? All right.
I don't want to hear that. I want to know, well, I want a plausible deniability. Because when I learned about plausible deniability, I can deny it's me because, I can blame it on the crud rocks. That's what I like. I like to be able to plausible deny. Yeah.
Yeah, big bottle bottoms is best. And try not to get the curved ones. No, they're all going to be slightly curved, but try not to get the really curved beer bottle bottoms. Yeah. The cheap beers, a lot of times they have really thin curved bottle bottoms. What you want is like bottle bottoms from growlers or 40-ounce beer or malt liquor bottles. Okay? You want the large amber bottles. You can even buy the amber bottles by themselves online. They're not that expensive. I was looking at amber and beer bottles online. You can buy them by the case. And if you buy them in bulk, they're like, let's see, $4 each for the growlers or something like that. The smallest ones, I think they're 30, no. They're 40 some odd ounce, I don't know. Anyways, I was doing the math the other day, and
For large bottle bottoms, I think it was like $2 and some odd cents. Once I cut them in half, each half is like $2 and some odd cents. So you can get a piece about almost this big, which is half of a bottle bottom on a big growler or reasonable sized growler for $2 and some odd cents, which is a lot cheaper than buying a slab or something and knapping it. Even if you just buy it, if you have to buy the whole bottle on a retail price, okay? It's much cheaper if you can get them for free, of course. And yeah, there is places. Facebook Marketplace often has people just giving away their bottles because they're moving or something. They have a collection of bottles, or they found something in the basement. They go, wait a second, there's a whole crate full of empty bottles in here. What am I going to do? They'll just give it away. Or they'll put them online and no one buys them, and then they give them away. You know, they put them online for sale, no one buys them, and they go, I give up, I'm just going to give them away. Instead of taking them to the dump. Around here, they're picky about what you throw in the dump. They're not picky about the bottles, right? But it's just kind of a hassle sometimes to go to the dump and get rid of them. Especially if it's out of your way. You'd rather have people come over and just pick it up, pick up the trash. Andrew Humphrey says, I got a bunch of 1 gallon amber bottles that I get for free from a chemical company. Sweet. Ben Sayin says, what are you making? What is it? What are you making? Well, I'm making a mess. I'm chipping some rocks, and it looks kind of triangular, right? So I'm making a chipped triangular thing, right? What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? I mean, you can figure that all out for yourself. I might not even go further than this. I might just make a bunch of these triangular things, or these oval shaped, or whatever it is called. Like lanceolate, almost. You can figure this all out without me telling you. I'm obviously chipping some rocks. I'm obviously making this teardrop shaped thing, and I'm making a mess. What else you need to know? Leaf shape, yeah. Let's see. Jesse. Okay, you guys are talking about something else. Let's see. Explore Florida is here. Hey, how's it going? AM Outdoors, what's up? T. Willison says, I got a great old bottle dump in a local hauler. I found workable uranium glass there. Let's see. I lost it. Where'd it go? Where'd that comment go? I found workable uranium glass in there too. Sweet. Make any more smoking birdies? I can make one today. I just want to see how this goes after I remove the crud. See, this side over here is okay, but this side over on the other side is not so good. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that not so good spot and then save the biface. Let's see. AM Outdoors is here. Big pickle jar bottom's got to be the most common. No, it's the growlers and the large malt liquor bottles. I would argue that it's the amber bottles and a dark blue and dark green bottles, especially the bottled water in glass bottles have almost straight bottle bottoms because they're not under pressure. See, if they're under pressure, like if they're carbonated or they got bubbles, they'll put a curve in the bottom of the bottles to prevent breakage. But if it's bottled water, there's blue bottles of bottled water, I forget the name, and there's green bottles of bottled water, I forget the name. Okay? Those are good bottles to nap. The darker the glass, the better. Don't nap clear glass. Two reasons. One, they seem to be tempered differently than the colored bottoms or the colored bottles. And number two, you can't see the flakes. If it gets inside your skin, you're going to have a hard time figuring out where that piece of glass is if it gets really deep. You're going to have to scratch it out and dig it out under much pain and misery. How do I know? I don't know. So I don't recommend clear. Okay? So anybody that says you can nap clear glass in the comment section, just ignore that, because if you're new, you're not going to have a good time doing it. Okay? Dark glass. That's where it's at. Mac Bale says, howdy, I just got my phone working. Pretty good. Too many alcoholics in my community that like pickles. I don't know. In my neck of the woods, everyone that likes pickles was female. Yeah. I napped some pickle jars in my day. It naps. I just don't recommend it because it's clear. It has a different temper to it for some reason. Yes, glass can be tempered, and it often is, especially for beverages. But it's a booger. Yeah, it'll cause problems. You don't need extra problems. You got enough as it is. Yeah, especially if it gets caught in your feet, right, or in your soles of your shoe, the clear glass. You walk in the house and you don't even see that you've deposited some clear glass in your house from your shoes. But if it's like beer bottle glass or dark blue or dark green glass, you can see it. And one of the kids will go, "Hey, Dad, look at the chips. Look, the chips, Dad. The chips, the glass chips. Look what you did." So, yeah, you can see them. But if I trample in those clear glass chips, no one sees them until someone says, "Hey, what do I got in my foot? Dad, I got something in my foot. What is it? I think a bee stung me. Except it's bleeding. What is it? I can't see. It's something in there. It's driving me crazy." Yeah, maybe it is a bee sting. I don't want to admit that it's part of the pickle jar. Yeah. Let's see. High Lime says, has anyone here used a fork and its tine as a flaker before? Is that an option? Oh yeah, that's an option. You can use anything for pressure flaking. Basically, I started with screwdrivers, but you can use a fork with, you can break off all the other tines and just use one tine on the fork. You can use a butter knife that's been sharpened to a point. That's one of the things that I used in the very beginning was a butter knife, but sharpened a little bit sharper. How do I explain it? With a diagram. See, a butter knife it's got a rounded tip like this, right? What you do is you grind it down so that you've got a protrusion like that. And it's from the side view, it's all skinny and flat, right? That's the side view. What you do is you can push downward to get little bitty flakes. Okay, flip it over like this, and you can use it as a notcher. So notcher, it can be used as a notcher or a flaker, depending on how you hold it. Okay, butter knife. And guess what? You can find these at Goodwill. Yeah, but I don't know how to grind it like that. I don't know how to do that. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, do not get into Flintknapping. Okay? If you don't know how to make a simple tool like this, do not get into Flintknapping. I'm not even kidding. Let's see. I live in Maryland, the land of quartz. Yeah. Maryland, Mr. Maryland, Chris, you got to start making your arrowheads out of slate. You got red slate, you got green slate, you got gray, you got bluish slate. We got all kinds of slates up here we could be grinding into arrowheads. We just got to make sure that we don't breathe in the dust, because that's highly hazardous. But anyways, I got slate. I'm fixing to make some slate arrowheads, just so I can show people that they don't need to be in misery in Maryland. Yeah. Yep, specifically Maryland. And Connecticut too. Connecticut qualifies also as one of those locations of utter misery. But they got slate. Chris Lithic says he'll pass. Oh man. You're passing up some good times. Oh yes. You can carve slate into any shape you want. And as long as you don't heat it up too much during the shaping on the grinding, you can sharpen the edges by grinding them down. And you can make banner stones. You can make gorgets or gorgets or whatever you want to call them. You can make beads because of all the slate. Oh yes. Yeah, slate was used by Native Americans constantly, especially in the Northeast. Do you want a taste of how they used to live? You need to start working with slate in the Northeast. Otherwise, you're just missing the opportunities. You don't got no FOMO. You know, if you're missing out on how they used to live in the New England, the Native Americans, they use a lot of slate for stuff. No, I don't want to do that. I want the cool stuff. You know, I don't care where I live. I just want to make cool stuff. Pat, show me some slate work, please. I got videos on it. Just type in Jack Crafty slate. There's also publications you can, if you look at the archaeological record, you can find all kinds of illustrations of slate arrowheads. You can even type slate arrowhead into Google and it'll come up with some stuff. It won't be that great, but it'll come up with some stuff. Chris Lithic says, do a new one on slate, Pat. Come on, do it. Do the slate, please. It's not too late. Do the slate. Yeah, I got enough on my plate to do the slate. Got too much on my plate to do slate. Yeah. Besides, that's for you guys who don't have stones to knap. You're sitting there going, I don't have no stones to knap. Yeah, I'm sitting on my slate steps, walking on my slate flagstone patio, and I don't got no stones to make arrowheads. That's who I'm talking to. Yeah. No excuses. No. No excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses. This is not going to work out very well. Unfortunately, I can't get through some of this stuff. So we're going to put this aside and call it nasty. Yeah. This side over here has not been okay, but then it's the good side's starting to disappear. I guess I could make it more narrow and try again. We'll try one more time. Yeah, I guess I could try that before I move on to this next piece. This one did not work out well. Let's see. Let's see. That stone looks like some tough stuff. Feathered Frontiersman. It's not tough, it's just broken up. It's got defects, it's got issues. Let me see. Aaron Wilson is here. Jesse, yes sir, picture does a lot of, okay. Break out the 1/2-inch rod of steel. Yeah, I might have to. Might be able to get a bird point. Yeah, this is Crunchyrola pudding. Ellen is right about that. 6-sided ornamental slate spearheads, decorative notches on all sides. Mr. Jim says, heat treat? This one, I don't think it would improve with heat. It's already napping really well on this side. It naps well on this side. It's just that side has issues. That's why I'm having trouble. It doesn't need to be heat treated because it naps well. See that? It's just the parts that are ruined somehow by nature. Nature did something bad to this rock. Nature abused this rock somehow, and now it's got PTSD. I don't know if it's heat damage, freeze cracks, tumble damage, or all of the above. It's got something wrong with it. But I'm going to try to take one more pass after I narrow it down. Let's see if I can get under that nasty area. See that? It's got this weirdness. See that? It flakes fine, but see that? The layers in it are separating. It's got some weird layerage. See, it's got weird layers, yeah. I don't know if I can get under that stuff. Oh, maybe I did. Let's see. But it still has some right there. I don't know. Let's see if I can. I might possibly be able to get under it, but no, look at it. It's terrible. Dang it. All right, that's it. We gave it a go. That's a no-go. I mean, we could save it, I suppose. Somebody might like it. Somebody might say, yeah, it's better than the quartz I got. So I want it. Give it over. If you don't want it, I'll get it. I'll teach you a lesson. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Okay. Well, let's see what this does. Change my mindset here. Hold on. Let me check the chat. See if I missed anything. This is a total different shift in mindset. Okay, let me take a little break. It takes a lot of energy to do the context switching. Context switching. Dang, I miss a lot of chat. Mike Mason says, that one makes me want to send you an anvil. My anvil. What is this material? This material is rocks. Feathered Frontiersman, yes. Blamo Rock, Wilderness Quest Outdoors. What is Blamo Rock? Andrew Humphrey says, I know the pain all too well. Let me see, what else? North Fire Farms is in southern Nova Scotia. I don't know if there's any rocks there other than the jaspers and stuff. I know that the Debert points were made from rocks somewhere around this Nova Scotia. The Debert Clovises. That crack goes all the way to that side. No, the crack that's in this, it doesn't go all that deep because this is still good on this side. It goes too deep to pursue it. It's going to end up being so thin that it'll break. Yeah, this side has got damage. This side didn't have damage, but I don't think there's enough left unless I make it really small. You know, make this smaller so that I can take the curve out once I get all this nasty stuff off. Because there's no nasties on this side. I just don't know how deep the good stuff goes. I might be able to keep working it, but it's a kind of a waste of time on video. Like if I had plenty of time, like tomorrow or something, I could experiment with this, but it's kind of a waste of time. Yeah, because I already know it's got a curve in it already. So I already know I got to lose some length to straighten that out. And then I don't know how deep those defects go. Those are definitely defects in the stone, because I can knap. I know how to knap. I know how to get a surface without step fractures, but it's not working on this side because of the stone. Okay, all right. Good question. Yeah, Andrew Humphrey says everything on this channel is obsidian. If you didn't know, yeah. That just needs a filing. Eric Kitty says, yeah, it just needs to file. Needs to be filed down. Lord Spivey says, I'm really good at taking naps. Really? You're not one of those that has trouble sleeping? You got excellent sleeping skills? Do you have the narco sleepy? I bet you do. Let's see. Chris Lithic says, I got a few preforms still from Danny too, but I want to save those for a rainy day. Yeah. Let's see. Ross Wellman, Patrick, I never heard of a gorget until just the other day. What was their purpose? Yeah, exactly. We don't know. But the best educated guess is a status symbol. They're found with men, women, and children. So I think it's a symbol of status. You know, obviously one of the families was important, so they all had gorgets to identify them as special. That's what I'm thinking. And that's what archaeologists think as well. Consensus is not science, but there is a consensus that the gorgets were some kind of ornament indicating status, because they're found in the funerary contexts a lot. Let's see. Old points had flaws too. Oh yes. James knows. James Kilpatrick knows about old points. Unlike some people, I'm not going to mention. Chris Lithic, Pat, you ever do a doodle? Yeah, whenever I'm messing up. Let's see. Mr. Jim says, I'm in a hotel room in Houston. They always freak out on me when I nap in my room. Don't let them catch you napping in that room. What is this material? It's rocks, yeah. Let's see. I'm going back in the chat looking to see if I missed something. If I missed your question or a super chat, I apologize. I'm not able to check the chat with regularity. Yeah, $1.99. Please show us some slate, please. Yeah, $2. Here's $2. Please show us some slate. Do I have slate pieces? I might be in luck here. Let's see. No, I got some stuff that I made out of bone that I also make out of slate. I've made stuff like this out of slate. Grinding bones is very similar to grinding slate. So, I mean, you can grind stuff like that. This is not done yet, but you can grind stuff like this out of slate. These are bone. And this is an actual, this is a template for a point made in California, a point style from California, northwestern United States, California, Oregon, Washington State, somewhere in that area. I don't know. That's a template, and it's the actual size of a real one. And these are just beginning to be shaped into arrowheads. This is just the basic shape. These are deer bone. This one's cow bone, and I think this is cow bone also. Anyway, that's what I got right now. And I got alligator gar scales. These are natural with no modifications whatsoever. These can be used as arrowheads as is. These are alligator gar scales. You can make stuff like this out of slate and anything you see here except maybe that one, because slate tends to crack on the weak spots really easy. But you can make these out of slate, and you can make almost anything. As long as it doesn't have crazy notches or barbs, because they break off easy with a slate arrowhead. All right, let's see. Let's see, Gorget jewelry, yeah. Northwest primate killed a deer with a slate point last year. Awesome. Yeah, Jay knows. Let's see. Let's see. Yep. Goodwill. Yeah, Steve says, I have a drawer full of butter knives. You can make flakers out of butter knives. You have a bench grinder. Just grind them down, dude. Notchers and pressure flakers all day. And they're stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about them getting nasty with all kinds of rust. Rockin' Pop's Adventures says, that was funny, Patrick. But you don't say what was funny, so I can't keep track. Let's see. We have some beautiful natural jasper here in Vancouver Island in Cowichan Valley. Haven't had a chance to try it yet. Oh, dang. Good information in the chat. Let's see. I wonder if shark's teeth were used or any other animal tooth for arrows. Yeah, I think shark's teeth were used for arrowheads. It depends on the shark, though. There are different species of sharks with different shapes of teeth. Some teeth on some sharks are usable as arrowheads, but a lot of sharks' teeth are curved. If you look at them from the side, from the front, they look like they can be mounted on arrows, but you turn them to the side and they're a little bit curved. That's not good. You got to find straight shark teeth, or you got to, grind them down somehow to modify them. But yeah, shark teeth were used in the past. There have been archaeological examples in the archaeological record of shark's teeth modified to fit on arrows, on arrow shafts. Yeah, they have found some of those. Where? I think, along the Gulf Coast, formerly the Gulf of America. You can find them, formerly the Gulf of Mexico, now Gulf of America. You can find shark's teeth artifacts along the coast. Used for arrows. Arrows are relatively recent. Bill says the natives use fire-hardened hickory as arrowheads. Once fire-hardened, it's closer to iron than wood. See, Bill knows the internet culture, right? But this has been debunked. You can't fire-harden hickory that much so that it mimics iron. No. That's internet culture. I'm not picking on you, but what you did there was you just regurgitated something that's part of a culture, not part of the set of facts. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, Andrew says, bone really stinks when you try to grind it. It doesn't smell that bad. Come on. You get used to it. But yeah, it doesn't smell good. Let's see. What else? Bill says, I'd throw a shark tooth. You there, friggin' let it fly. Yeah, I think Billy Berger actually has a video where he has a dead deer set up to where he could shoot different types of arrows into the deer carcass. And one of the types of arrows he used was a shark tooth arrow head, and it penetrated all the way through the deer. It worked surprisingly well. Billy Berger, I don't know if he still has videos up. I'm pretty sure his channel's still up. I haven't seen much lately from him, but he does have some videos where he experiments with stuff. The Feathered Frontiersman says, what was the highest quality stone of your knapping career? The best. The one you still remember. The best quality that I've ever knapped was Mexican Imperial Jasper. Green. That's the best. Right? I'll write it down so that you don't forget. And I don't think it was heat treated. Best stone. Best ever stone. Raw. It's another raw category. It's called Mexican Imperial Jasper. And it's green. The one that I napped. I don't know if it comes in different colors. All right, screenshot it. Get a tattoo if necessary. The best ever stone in the raw category. Now, if you want to do the heat treat, there's heat treat. Okay, there's also, hold on here, man-made. There's heat treat nature. Oh, yes. Then there's obsidian. These are all different categories, all right? So there's raw, there's man-made heat treat, there's nature's heat treat, and obsidian, and I bet you there's more different categories. But in the raw category, it's Mexican Imperial Jasper, okay? I'm not going to go into all these other ones because it gets complicated. Extremely complicated. Okay? All right. I hope you screenshotted it because I'm not going to repeat it. What did I do with my gloves? Chris Lithic says, I got an Imperial Jasper on the way to my house. Yeah. I bet you it's not going to be as good as the one I napped, though. I got lucky. And I had to buy like 6 different pieces. I even got one piece of that Mexican Imperial Jasper that has a little bit of pyrite, gold pyrite in it. And I've got it stashed away on my shelves in my house somewhere, and I'm going to make a little pendant out of it. It's got pyrite, little gold specks in it. So not only is it excellent to nap, but it's got little gold pyrite specks. Completely awesome. Yeah, but you're supposed to have like an all-time favorite from all the categories of all the categories and all the types of stone and everything in the whole universe. What's your one favorite above all? Yeah, that's what you guys want to know, right? There is no such thing as a one favorite above all. I have to break it into categories because there's many favorites. Yeah. Depending on what you're talking about. And these different favorites, you have different mindsets and techniques for napping them. Okay, there's different skill sets involved in these different nappings. In the different materials, I mean. Okay? Let's see, you should nap Haktua out of it. You should nap the Haktua out of it. Yeah, I should. Oh, wait, it is the Mexican Jasper I got, says Chris Lithic. You're not sure what you got? Let me see. I thought you only knocked on obsidian. Who said that? Let me see. Andrew Humphrey says, I thought you only knocked on obsidian. I got the, okay, this is where I got it from. That's the next question. Where did you get the Mexican Imperial Jasper? It doesn't do us any good unless you tell us the source. Okay, I'll tell you the source. Eric's Rocks. I bought it. You can find Eric's Rocks on Facebook. Is he going to have any? I doubt it. It comes and goes with availability. But he knows exactly what we're talking about. If you say, hey, Eric from Eric's Rocks, nice to meet you. Do you have Mexican Imperial Jasper? Because Jack Crafty says that was #1 Excellento. Got it? You have it? Please tell me you do, because I'm going to buy 14,000 pounds of it. So I don't have to mess with anything else for the rest of my life. And then Eric's going to say, I think I might have 14 ounces of it. Not 14,000 pounds of it. What? Yeah. Okay, just get ready. Chris Lithic says, I'm not really sure about the Mexican because I'm really wanting the Bloodstone. Bloodstone is completely different. Okay, than the Mexican Imperial Jasper. Okay, all right. I shouldn't say completely different, but it's Bloodstone is a mixed bag. The Mexican Imperial Jasper was pretty consistent among the pieces that I got. But some of it was better than other pieces. But the best pieces of the Jasper were beyond excellent. They're fantastic. Maybe, some people just react better to some stones than others. It could be just me and the way I nap. It was cooperating with the way I nap. Now, I've heard stories, if you want to hear stories about the Mexican Imperial Jasper, I've heard that it's where you find it is controlled by cartels, that particular area. I mean, I'm not sure. They probably don't give a crap about the Jasper that's there in that area. But I have, I've heard stories that area is controlled by cartels, so they don't like going in, and they don't like anything going in or out of that area as far as shipping, unless they're controlling it. Okay? Otherwise, we'd find probably rock sellers that are selling 14,000 pounds of it. Okay? Just saying. Let's see, gonna have to spoil them out. Heat treat maybe. Yeah, some of the heat treats are excellent. Also, it depends on how you heat treat it though. Yeah, not all heat treat is created equal. All right, how is this going? This is going kind of crunchy, but it's not too bad. It doesn't have those nasty layers in it. It's not as good as the first piece I was napping. This is a challenge night, right? So I'm supposed to be napping challenging materials. The first piece I napped was too good for us. It was not much of a challenge. So you're buying rocks from the cartels? No, I'm not buying rocks from the cartels. I'm buying rocks from someone who bought the rocks from the cartels. I'm once removed, okay? Yeah, once removed. Remember that. You already forgot who was selling it. Man. I already told you Eric's Rocks is the one that was selling it. And he's not the only one. But you already forgot. Yeah. You didn't screenshot it. You didn't shoot the screen. Hey, Shinbone 5000. How's it going, buddy? Evening, Patrick. I've got a piece of green Mexican obsidian I've been saving for a special day. Well, cool. I looked on your channel and I didn't see anything recent. You should put up that green obsidian as a video. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Now, green obsidian is different from the imperial jasper, just in case you don't know. You guys are funny. What is this? Zelensky bought rocks from Lindsey Graham? Are we going to go there? I don't want to bring these discussions into the chat. It's too funny. Not that kind of rocks, man. We got little kiddos watching. You gotta watch what we're saying. I got people who know me watching this. Watching my live streams and my videos. People that I'll see in everyday life, not just online. Some people accuse me of being too familiar with my audience. Well, it depends on who's watching, because there's some people that I know very well that watch this, and I'm not anywhere near too personal with them when I'm on my live streams or on videos. But for strangers, yeah, it might feel like it's a little bit too personal. Can't please everybody, but I try. Let's see. Andrew says, where I live in Ohio, we have Brush Creek chert. Cool. I don't know what that is, but I say cool because at least you got chert. Yeah. Does it nap? When you tell me you've got Brush Creek chert, I have no idea if it naps or what color it is, or if you got 1 pound per acre or 100,000 pounds per acre. Is it available for everybody? I don't really need to know the name. I need to know, is it available for everybody? Are you selling it? Does it nap well? Does it need heat? What color is it? I don't need to know what it's called. Just say, hey, in my backyard, I've got this rock that's like a pinkish color. It turns purple when you heat it. You heat it at 400 degrees and it's great, but you can still nap it raw. I don't know what it's called, but you can make stuff that's up to 6 inches long with it. And it's like my whole backyard full of it. That's the kind of information we need. Not, oh, I got this kind of chert. Because that tells me nothing. That doesn't tell me anything. Thunder chert, yeah. I got lots of thunder chert. Where I can get a hold of a lot of thunder chert. I looked that up the other day. Free toilet tanks on Facebook Marketplace. And guess what? I found 4 right away. Yeah. Because there's some people that do remodeling and stuff, and they toss out their old toilets, right? They got these toilets for the tanks, not the bowls, but the tanks, fully intact, that they're, selling like for $10, $20 for people who buy the old stuff that's thrown out from the remodeling. So yeah. And some are free. Here, come take our sinks, our toilet tanks, our ceramic doorknobs, our ceramic dishes that we found in the attic, they have a bunch of ceramics and stuff for free. You can knap ceramics. Let's see. Let's see. Andrew Humphrey, yeah, better stay out of the politics. There's too many sissies out there. You'll get a lot of people butthurt. Yeah. Yep, if we go there, it's going to be terrible. Let's see. The Feathered Frontiersman asked me, what was that high-strength black button you used to use? The ballistic plastic stuff? Black button? The ballistic plastic stuff? Black baton. It's called UHMW. I probably need to rewrite that on there because it's faded. Write it again. UHMW. UHMW plastic. What does that stand for? Ultra high molecular weight plastic. eBay. That's where you find it. That's not the type of plastic. This is a type of plastic. The diameter is 1 1/4 inch. Diameter. DIA. That's what this is. And it weighs, I think it's 9 ounces. Or it could be 6 ounces. It weighs between 6 and 9 ounces. And I believe this particular piece is either 9 or 11 inches long. 9 to 11 inches long. It's somewhere in that range and somewhere in this ounces. I can measure and all that. No, it's not Delrin. Let's see. I'm going to write something that might tick some people off. Oops, this is... I can't... Dang it. I'm going to ruin my whiteboard. Hold on. I'm going to write something bad about Delrin. And this is not sarcasm. Delrin is the devil. Okay? On this channel, Delrin is the devil. Yeah, he's saying stuff like this because he's made 3,000 videos explaining all this stuff. Yeah. You don't know. I cut you guys, you new guys, I cut them a lot of slack because they don't know. I mean, you must forgive them, for they know not what they know not. Let's see. Yeah, all nappers falling into hard times need the good toilets to nap. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, someone in the chat is saying that they are gay. Why are you gay? Let's see here. What else we got in the chat? Somebody watches me every day. That's cool. What else we got in the chat? Where's our moderators? Let's see. Or do I get to delete another person? Pat has a video for almost every topic. If I want to watch a certain material or technique, I look if he's done it. Yeah, just type in Jack Crafty and whatever subject you're looking for. I might have done a video on it. I'm not saying I did, but I might have a video on it that may be of interest to you. The weight of your stick seems to matter a lot, how well indirect will work. No, it's the force you use. And also depends on the stone. You need heavier rocks for tougher stone. Heavier billets and mallets for tougher stone. But I use the same weight for everything. Every time I knap something, it's always the same weight. It's always the same billet. You know why it's always the same billet? Because it's the same variable. I don't vary the billets because that increases the variability. I don't like to increase the variability. I like to keep things steady so I know if it's me or the rock. If I change my tools and something goes wrong, is it the rock, is it me, or the tools? Well, let's just make it easier and not change the tools so it's either me or the rock. You see what I'm saying? So I use the same billet with everything. Big rocks, small rocks, medium-sized rocks, hard rocks, soft rocks, glass, everything, same billet. Okay? So what does that mean? That means it's the speed at which I hit that matters, not the weight of the billet. Okay? Okay. Not picking on you. I'm just trying to relay some facts. Yeah. Let's see. We don't have a moderator in the house. Nope, looks like they left. Andrew Humphrey, come on, Jack, get with it. You're not supposed to... What? You're not supposed to use Sharpies on the whiteboard. Yep. Vortex Tube says, I mentioned Delrin as I've worked with ultra-high molecular weight plastics, and Delrin is one of them. And you hadn't specified the specific plastic, and I was simply looking for clarification. Okay, did I clarify it for you? I hope I clarified it. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, UHMW-PE. But I don't know if you had to put the -PE in there for the eBay or not. I think, PE might stand for polyethylene, but I'm not sure. What do they even do, the moderators? The moderators can put you in timeout. Yeah. Yeah, the rod is not made of obsidian. Let's see. James Kilpatrick, red, yellow, black, and white there. Yeah. Yep. Delrin, in my experience, is more flexible than ultra-high molecular weight plastic. That's why people use it for flakers, because it has that flexibility that allows a little bit of spring in the knapping when you're doing pressure flaking. Let's see. Is this wrench rock, Patrick? It varies quite a bit, huh? Yeah, I got these pieces from Drew's concrete, from Drew, right? And I'm not sure if he collected these from the same area or not. Yeah, he probably collected them from the same area. So there's a lot of variability in these wrench rocks. But when we're talking about same area, he could have traveled a mile or so between spots. I don't know. I don't know the distance. If I start answering questions about the rocks, people want to know, okay, did they find them right next to each other? You got to walk 1/10 of a mile or 5/10 of a mile or 5 miles? And did you find them next to creeks, on a hillside, or on the top of a mesa? Where? And I start getting into all these things. And then I tell them that, and they go, okay, do you look for stuff that's immediately on the surface, or you got to dig a little bit? Do you have to break any of it up while you're out in the field? What do you use to break it up with? Do you save all the flakes? Do you leave flakes there to get mixed up with the stuff that the Native Americans were doing? I mean, come on. So we start getting into all this other stuff, and I don't want to have that conversation. Yeah. Because I'm trying to nap. Yeah. Okay? All right. Let's see. I'm thinking about getting some Novaculite. Do you recommend it? Says Andrew. For beginners, no. I don't recommend Novaculite for beginners. Why? Because it can be finicky, and if you nap it raw, it's going to be almost impossible. Unless I don't like you as a beginner, like you made some nasty comments in the comment section. I'm going to say, yeah, I think Novaculite's excellent. Make sure you get some raw stuff. And if you're brand new, make sure you tell the guy that you don't want any heat at all on the Novaculite. Because you were told that new guys need to learn on tough stuff. Because once they learn on tough stuff, they can nap anything. They can nap anything. He told me that. Yeah, I'll tell you that if I don't like you. Because you'll be in misery. Yep. So make sure that it's heat-treated Novaculite, but I don't recommend it for beginners because it's finicky. It'll snap in half, and you're going to spend a lot of money on it, and you're going to snap it in half, and you're going to start breaking out the tissues because of all the issues. Yeah. Okay. All right. Is it as good as Mexican Imperial Jasper? No, not even in the same category. No. Novaculite, heat-treated Novaculite, naps easily, right? But it's soft. It's got soft edges. When you try to sharpen it, it doesn't feel like it's deadly. I hate to say it. Now, some Novaculite does sharpen up nicely. It depends on the Novaculite you get. Some of it's really soft and it doesn't sharpen nicely. Some of it does sharpen nicely. So don't, pin me to that. It's variable. It depends. If you get your Novaculite from Danny Collins, he knows how to heat treat it well. And most guys that sell Novaculite online, most of them know how to heat treat it well. And I think it takes heat in excess of 650 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need a kiln. In other words, you need to be a professional heat treater with a kiln to make it just right. Okay? But even when it's made just right, I don't recommend it for beginners because it'll snap in half on you and you won't know why. Andrew Humphrey says it was a joke. Yeah, okay. I apologize. The thing is, it's hard for me to tell which ones are jokes in the chat because there's some people that are serious. Some people get a little bent out of shape and they start saying stuff and it might be a joke or it might not be. Yeah, let's see here. Can you mod me? Somebody said, Christare, can you mod me? No, I don't even know you. Christarene Thompson. That's funny. I've never had that question before. What are you making? I'm making something out of rock. It's a teardrop shaped little thing. Yeah. What What do you call a rock that never went to school? A skipping stone. Yep. See, that's obviously something that's supposed to be funny. Let's see. Andrew Humphrey says, Danny Collins is low on rocks right now. He's got Keokuk and Georgetown. Those are good for beginners. I mean, they're not great, but they're good. I used to recommend Keokuk to beginners, but that can be a mixed bag as well. Sometimes the Keokuk is good, sometimes the Keokuk is not. In general, it is. And if you get it from Danny Collins, he tests it out before he sells it. So if you get it from him, it'll be good quality. What did I do with my billet? I talked about my billet so much that I'd lost it. I'm looking right at it or not? Look, I don't see my billet. Okay, I put it up on the shelf. Let's see. All right, so what are we going to do with this? We're going to try to thin it down. I'm entering the stage now where I'm trying to thin it down. And as usual, there's one side that's good for napping and the other side's not so good. Let's see. Let's see. So this is the hard part. It's beginning to be the hard part because I got to try to thin this without causing step fractures. And I'm not sure exactly how much convexity it needs. It looks like it doesn't need that much, but it's running into areas that are not nappable. So it may need a lot of convexity just to get through those areas. And if I flatten it out too soon, I won't be able to get rid of those nasty spots. Stoneface is here. Oh, he was here earlier, I think. Andrew Humphreys, let me guess, is it going to be an arrowhead or a spear or a fishing pole? You know what? I'm thinking about making some custom fishing poles because they sell for a pretty penny. Yeah. I'll start with the fish hooks. Yeah. And I'll graduate up to the fishing poles. How's that? Yeah, I can see how this is going to go. Man. I'm going to have to use a lot of force. And you notice I didn't change the billet. Sometimes I change the billet. Yeah. On extreme cases, I will change the billet to something else that's much heavier. But my technique is, if at first it doesn't succeed, I hit even harder and faster. And if it still doesn't succeed, I hit even harder and faster. And if that doesn't succeed, I hit so fast that the relatives back at the quarry can feel a disturbance in the force when I hit the stone. That's how hard I hit it. Yeah. I never back off. Unless it's really thin, then I've got to back off. But at this stage like this, if it's not working with the amount of force I'm using, I will hit it harder and faster until I get it to work. You know, if I got meat in it. If it's already really thin, I've got to be careful. But if it's thick like this, you know what happens. Yeah. Where's my other? There it is. I got one that's in between. I got an in-betweener between this one and that one. These two, I use these two a lot, but I need the in-betweener. I'm pretty sure for this turtleback. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. It's the smaller it is, the easier it is for me to be accurate, but it can't be too small. Okay. Come on, did it do it? Oh, it almost did it. It didn't dive, or it didn't skin deep enough. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to prepare the edge again. All right, now we're talking. Come on. I just need a little bit off the edge. It's not going to do it. It's just going to crush. All right, we'll move over to here, see if we can do something. Yes? No, it's not convex enough. So we make it more convex. Move it closer, both lower and closer for the hit. Has to be plenty of convexity in the area where I want to hit. It can't be like this. See that dish out? It's got to be like this, convex. So I'm going to hit right there where it's convex. If I were to hit down here where it's not convex, it wouldn't go anywhere. It would just stop like halfway. Let's see. That's where I was supposed to hit. Oh, yes. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. That nasty stuff is going away. And it's getting thinner. Do you see how I did that? No? That's okay. Most people are not paying attention. I'll cut you some slack. Most people probably got double screens right now on their computer and they're watching something else at the same time they're watching me. Or they're Flintknapping or doing something like that. They'll have to rewind it, watch it over again, which is good for the revenue. Yeah. Tony Williams says that was a great flake. Thank you, thank you. Someone was paying attention. All is not lost. Whenever it's really great like that, there is a little bit of luck involved. Yeah. I attempted that particular type of flake several times on this piece. It didn't get it until finally it worked. So yeah, I attribute a lot of that to luck.
Anyways, let's see what else we can do. This is a dull, grainy, and dry type of shirt. There is a secret to putting a gloss on this without having to heat it. You can either add wax or mineral oil or some kind of oil to it to make it more glossy if you want to display something like this and make it look nice and shiny. Just a little bit of information there. Some nappers will add oils and waxes to their finished pieces, especially these dull, grainy pieces, to make them look a little better. And you can do the same thing. Yeah, you don't need to be a professional to know their tricks. Nope. I never add oil unless it's a special occasion. I'll add mineral oil to the piece. Yeah. What's a special occasion? Well, if I see a lot of crushing at the bottom of a notch and I can't get rid of it, and it really looks bad. It's not bad as far as the function of the point, but crushing at the bottom of notches bugs me. So sometimes I'll put mineral oil down at the bottom of the notch, so it gets rid of that, or it gets rid of most of that crushed look. But other than that, I hardly ever put mineral oil or wax or anything on the points. Sometimes people request it, but it's rare. Yeah. I had one guy, I think, at a nap-in says, is there a way to shine that up? I'm just curious. I said, yeah, I can put some mineral oil on it. Really? I said, yeah, I got some. I have it in my kit, just in case. All right. And he was happy. But I think that's happened like one time. I have it in my kit just in case I want to do that notch thing, where I put some mineral oil at the bottom of the notch. Let's see. Underwater basket weaving, yeah. When you do underwater basket weaving, it doesn't mean that your whole body is underwater. It just means the basket's underwater. I hope everybody understands this. Right? Wait, does that... I thought it meant that these basket weavers were like scuba diving. As far as I know, it's not scuba diving basket weaving. Okay. So if I use beeswax to just melt it on, yeah, what you do, I've seen guys use beeswax and you rub it on first. Like if you have a candle type thing or a bar of beeswax, you just rub it on gently, and then you take one of those blow torches, either a cigar torch or a chef's butane torch, and lightly just go over the whole thing without heating the stone too much. Just, you can warm it up, yeah, but just wait until that wax melts and produces an even coating, and then you can rub off the excess and buff it up. That's with wax. With mineral oil, you just need to, put some mineral oil on a cloth and wipe it and make sure there's not too much excess. Like oiling a butcher block if you use mineral oil. But if you use wax, it's very similar to doing the treatment on wood. But you don't want to heat the stone excessively. That's the danger with wax. Mineral oil requires no heat. And other oils like neat's foot oil or mink oil or something like that doesn't need any heat. But I know you've got a bee farm, so beeswax is available to you. Beeswax, well, I think it creates a semi-gloss
luster. It's not really shiny like a gloss luster. Let's see. Shaven something or other, or scaven. Some people are about as bright as a dead bulb. Yeah. We're not going to talk about anybody in particular. We'll let them incriminate themselves. Now everybody's wondering, hey, wait, is he talking about me? I'm not talking about anybody. No, I am not. I don't have anybody in mind when I say that. Nope. It's just a general comment. All right. Oh, that was sneaky. That was good. Dang. It's better than I thought. Now that we got the nasty stuff off, it's acting better than I thought. So what should I do? Let's see. Are we still in Clovis territory? I could probably make a Clovis with a short flute. Yeah. I'll give it a try on a point I don't care about. Yeah, try it on some flakes. Don't even try it on a point. Try it on some flakes, Bill. Or Jim, I'm sorry. Yeah, get a flake like this and then try it out on a flake. And try different formulas, you know. You can mix the beeswax with something else. What was some of the things that I was looking at in the past? There's some things, I forget. Let me think here. You can add stuff to the beeswax, you know, melt it together and apply it, and it'll make it more glossy. I'm not sure. Barnett says, I have never seen you flute a point. Well, if I flute this one, they're not going to be very long, but I can try it. Okay, so then you can say that you've seen me do it. I will try to flute this, but if it doesn't produce a relatively long flake on the first attempt, I'm not going to force it. Some materials will flute easier than others. Let's put it that way. And a flute just has to be twice as long as it is wide. It doesn't need to be halfway, because people, when they say they want to see a nice flute, what they mean is they want to see a flute that goes at least halfway down the point. I can't guarantee that. My flutes are usually 1/4 to 1/3. Okay? Because I don't want to risk breaking it. Now, if I'm in a risky mood, I'll try for a longer flute, which just means I hit harder and I grind the bottom more. I grind the bottom edge a lot and hit harder. Okay? And there are ways to prepare for longer flutes too. If you want to, if I want to send in flakes and create a median ridge, that also helps to lengthen the flute. This kind of has a median ridge, but I don't want to spend a lot of time creating a median ridge. I'll just live with what I get. For minimal preparation. So yeah, you just kind of isolate that spot. Make sure it's below center line. Usually that's what works. Make sure you have convexity in this direction. It can't be flat unless it's perfectly flat. And that's the exception. The flute surface can be perfectly flat and it'll work sometimes. But most of the time, it needs to have some convexity. So wherever you see convexity is where the flute will travel. As soon as it starts getting flat, it'll start diving in. So I imagine it's going to start diving in right about there. Right about there. Okay, now I can take some more off of this, a little bit, but it's dicey to try to take off just a little bit because sometimes it'll scoop out too much. And the reason that you want to take off more from this is so the convexity is longer. If you shave more off of this and make the convexity longer, the flute will be longer. If it starts out much thicker here, the convexity is even longer. The longer the convexity, the longer the flute without diving. Now, if you wanted to dive in because you think it looks cool to make that mistake, knock yourself out. Yeah. Some people think it's cool to make that mistake. So that didn't go very far, but I can attempt another one. That one was just the surface. Barely grazed the surface, so I can try again. I need to pull that out though. Let's see. Yeah. Well, see, that's how far it would go. So on the next attempt, it'll go about that far. And some people say, ah, that's lame, dude. Dude, that's lame. That's not no flute. That's not a flute. That's a fluke. Yeah. But it's the same process. If you've seen me do one flute, you've seen me do all of them. It's the same process over and over again. Same angles, same preparation. It's not the same force though, but you can't see the amount of force I'm using on the video. That's one thing you can't see on video is how much force I'm using. This next one is going to be more forceful. I hope he didn't go make a sandwich because he's going to miss it. Why do I isolate? And so the energy doesn't disperse to the sides too soon. Isolate it so the energy doesn't disperse it doesn't get too wide too fast. Okay, that's why you isolate it. But you don't have to isolate it. It's not necessary, but sometimes it's a good habit to get into. It depends on the material. I just don't trust this material, so I'm isolating it. It's not the right shape, so hold on. I can't get it to flake. I don't want to just take, I'm just going to hit it anyway. I'm just trying to make a subtle change into it, but oh well. We'll forget about that part. I can change it like this. Yeah, there it goes. See, I just wanted to make it a little more isolated in the middle. Let's see if that works. A little bit higher up on the edge. A little more force. That didn't do anything. So we just try again. Keep trying. This time I'm not going to isolate it. Let's see. See? I hit that really, really hard, and you can see it sort of diving right around the spot that I said it was going to terminate, right? So that's actually a weak spot that Clovis manufacturers would hit a flake into it from the side to get rid of that weak spot. Okay, if you look at Clovis's, a lot of times you'll see that they don't want that. Now, if it's already really thin, they don't have a choice. I'm going to send, later on, I'm going to send a flake in there to get rid of that. Or to get rid of some of it. I don't have to get rid of all of it. Okay, so same thing on the other side. We're not going to isolate it. It's got some convexity, but it doesn't have very much. See how it stops the convexity right there? So the flute is only going to go to somewhere in the middle of that. It's not going to be as long as this one. Unless I make it more convex. If I skin some off of the surface here, it might work. Let's see if I can skin some off. I'll show you what I mean. Now it's not as tall here, so the convexity is longer. If I get rid of some more of this, you can see the convexity can probably generate a longer flake than before. Before it was really humped right here, so it tends to ride the hump and then dive in. This one doesn't have a hump anymore, it just has convexity, so it'll probably run a little bit further if it doesn't break, or if it doesn't stop at that step fracture right there. If I dig in enough, it won't stop at that step fracture, but that means I got to dig in a lot. So just I'm going to toughen that edge up because I'm going to hit it really hard. I don't want it to smash or terminate too soon. Okay, so I got a nice convexity there. Yes. This side's a little bit too lumpy. If one side is more lumpy than the other side, see how it's more lumpy on this side? The flake will want to go toward that lump. It won't go this way. It'll go that way. So it's got to be symmetrical to get a flake to go down the middle. Yeah, I just crushed it, so I'm gonna have to redo a lot of it. So I think that's why some Clovises have a lot of concavity in the base, because of the various repairs that need to be done from failed attempts to prepare it or whatever. Failed attempts to fluid it or prepare it. You end up making more concavity in the base. Yeah. Yeah, it looks okay. So from the side, we still have some good convexity. It's not great, but it'll work. Yeah, it's okay. Well, that's what I got from that one. I could continue with it. I still have convexity. But do I want to continue? Let's see. How do I know if I should continue? Well, we're going to try to haft it. If it's haftable, we can stop. That's the whole point of the flutes. It makes it haftable. So it's haftable, we can stop. Yeah, don't need to go any further. Okay? We just assume that we're going to make a knife, a Clovis knife. Yeah, it's haftable. Okay. So that's it. I don't want to try it anymore because it's not necessary. We just shape it up now. Okay, so let's see, where is the symmetry? This flute is over on this side, so I got to take this side off. So I have to, if it fits in the haft, that's when we stop. Yeah. That's the only measurable marker that makes sense. As long as it fits in the haft, this is an average size slot, then we're done. Otherwise, how do you know when to stop? Because it looks pretty? No. If it hafts well, that's when you stop. Okay? All right. I mean, that's the only marker, like I said, that makes sense. The only determining factor that makes sense. It was sticking on this side over here, so. Okay. It's a little bit better. So yeah, you try it out in the haft, and if it works, it works. There. That slides in and out easily now. It doesn't bind. It's not binding, so that's all we need as far as thinness down here. Now we can thin the blade as much as we want. Yeah, and we adjust the blade to fit the flute. On a lot of Clovis points, you'll see the side flakes intrude into the flute. So the flute was not last. A modern napper, to make them look pretty, will flute it last. But on the real artifacts, you'll see that the side flakes intrude into the flute in many cases. In some cases, no, but in many cases, like I did right here, these side flakes intrude into the flute. And I did that to make it symmetrical, so it slides in and out from the haft easily. And I don't back up the wood to that point right there. I'm going to try to get rid of that step fracture because that's a weak point. That'll cause it to fracture across there. You know what I mean? That's called a stress point. In engineering, when there's a difference in the thickness of a material that's placed under stress, the stress will concentrate at that point, and that's where it'll snap. Okay? So I'll shoot a flake from the side and try to minimize that. It may still be in there, but I'll try to minimize it. Okay? All right. Yes, yes. And this, let's see, most Clovises are like 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 across. Something like that on average. Let me see how much this is. This is 1 inch and 1/8. So I can narrow it down that much, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave about a 1/16 of an inch extra on the sides, something like that. Barnett says, how is it possible for some artifacts to have really long flakes? Specific material or just 1 in a million and it got treasured and saved because it turned out? Yes to both questions. Sometimes I got lucky and sometimes it was the material that allowed you to do it. If you do, let's say that this is my 100th Clovis, I can probably get the flutes to go further. And it doesn't take long, if this is what you depend on for your livelihood, to make 100 Clovises. So the more you make, the longer these flutes get. It also depends on how far down the haft you want to haft it. Like if it's a really deep, let's say it's a really deep notch like this one. You want to flute it further down because, see, it's bumping into the wood. See that? It's bumping into it. And it's not reaching the bottom of the notch. Okay? It fits in straighter that way, but it's still not hitting the bottom of the notch. Why do we worry about this? Because these are made in advance. You get someone else to make it, or you make these in advance and you save them up. It's much easier to make these in advance than to custom make each one of these notches for each and every Clovis. Or it goes for any point style. So you make these in advance and use them as gauges so that you can just give this to somebody else and say, hey, make a bunch of copies, please. I'll give you the deer meat or whatever when we're done. Just make me a bunch of these of the same width of notches. And someone else can do that. That's not a napper. Okay? That's why you go by this and not, you know, going with the flow on each and every piece. Explore Florida says, there were actually tons of fluted bases to almost the tip. However, the ones I've seen were like 4 or 5 inches and smaller. Well, let's see. Do you have any leverage tools and methods? No, I don't have any jigs or leverage tools. I've never used them. I've tried them, but I've never used them for Clovis points. Do I want to use them? Sure. But, you know, what's the sense? When I can make stuff that looks like Clovises without them, why have the extra equipment? Yeah. And yeah, I can make longer flute with more practice. The more practice I get, the longer I can make the flutes. So this one, I haven't made a Clovis in a long time. I'm trying to think. It was last year sometime. So yeah, probably a year. I think the last one I made was on video. I'm trying to think. Or maybe at a nap-in. I think I tried making a Clovis at the last Brady nap-in, so maybe that was the last time. That was in April, so maybe not a year ago. But I have a hard time making Clovises at nap-ins because there's too many distractions. And sometimes the material is not that great. Because people give me stuff that's challenging to work on. So I'll try to make a Clovis out of something challenging. And it doesn't work out in most cases. Anyways, this is just a matter of shaping it now. I shape around the flute. And if I need to thin the blade down, I'll wait and shoot a big old flake. So it looks like I can shoot a big old flake down in here as part of my finish up
Yeah, let's see. What time is it? Oh, 2 hours and 20 minutes? You guys got me into doing the Clovis when it was already 2 hours? Yep. What's today, Tuesday? Yeah, I don't have any. I finished all my shipping tonight. I didn't send out all the packages today because I still had a couple left to finish. So, but I finished those, so I have no shipping to do tomorrow. So I don't have to get up early. Yeah, I can work on this. Until I finish it. Now, the sides on the Clovis were very meticulously done in most cases. The hafting area was very carefully done on most Clovises. Straight sides here, but the blade can be kind of wonky, but the sides of the hafting area were very deliberately straightened and then ground down and almost polished. I've seen real Clovises up close. I've examined real ones made of stone. Yes, yes. I've also looked at casts. I had several Clovis casts, and I looked at them until I got headaches, so I sold them. Chris Lithic, did you take a little break? You missed it? Nice. Yeah, the edge, when the edge starts getting too thin, that's what happens. But I got to remove some of that side anyway. That's why I'm taking big flakes off of this side, just in case something like that happens. Tried taking a big flake there, it was okay. Let's see. I'm holding the rod behind my knee.
Okay, the hard part's over. The thinning was the hard part, right? And some areas on this are easy to nap and some are not. It's like this side here, you can see that the flaking doesn't look as pronounced as this side. It's a different consistency on this side. So all I have to do now is sharpen it. Now, on some Clovises, I think a lot of the sharpening was done with indirect percussion or some kind of percussion for most of the blade, and then on the very tip is where they did the fine pressure flaking. Yeah, so I'll just finish it up with fine pressure flaking, especially down near the base. But a good Clovis is very symmetrical. Yeah. I noticed that on good Clovises, what makes them good is the symmetry. Okay, so I don't have much more to go on as far as the width. It leaves me a little bit of room for the pressure flaking. To straighten out those edges. These edges don't need to be straightened out all that much, just sharpened up. Chris Lithic said he had to rewind to see it, but I saw it. Great work, Pat. Thank you, thank you. I minimized the steppage. See that? See how it's minimized? I could probably try for another, thinning flake, but it doesn't need to be any thinner to fit in the haft. Yeah. And what about this other one? This is probably more like the shape of a Clovis haft with, I guess, I don't know. It's still bumping up against that step fracture, but I think I don't know if it was, I think it probably was a haft that had straight sides on it. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just finish it up with pressure. That's right, I don't need to get up early tomorrow. Chris Lithic, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I can chat while I do this. I think. Yeah, I'm just straightening out the edge before I grind it. Now, during this Clovis, I mentioned that I do the thinning of the blade last. I do the flute first, and then I work around the flute. I try to minimize the step fracture, and then I do the blade. If you go around on the internet, in the internet Flintknapping culture, and say that you might get a little bit of ridicule. So I don't recommend, unless you want to get into a fight. We'll just keep it to ourselves, right? I don't want to get no one into trouble. But we study artifacts. We can see the procedure. We don't have to regurgitate what everybody else says. Not seeing the procedure that I did, but on the artifacts you can see what happened. And on the artifacts you can see that a lot of times they didn't flute both sides. And if they did, one was shorter than the other, right? Usually they're not equal flutes, okay? And sometimes there weren't anything on either side. Sometimes there were no flutes on either side on Clovis. Sometimes they were quite long. And like I said, if you do enough of these, the flutes just keep getting longer and longer. And it also depends on how much of a socket or a notch you have. I think that depended on the culture. Some socketed deeply and some did not. Okay, it depends on the culture, and I think that determined the size of the flutes. But like I said, if you start saying that kind of stuff around internet culture, you might get some ridicule. How do I know? I don't know. And it's much easier to grind the edges when you do a lot of little persnickety flaking on the edge first. Yeah, and like I said, the mark of a well-made Clovis is symmetry, not the fluting. And that'll get you the ridicule also. So now I just take away the dull spots. I can leave the edge a little bit wonky, like the real ones. This one has a tendency to do that. This particular material. It's kind of annoying, but it's alright. I think a lot of Clovises are very thin at the very tip. So I'm going to try to take a couple of scooped out thinning flakes so I can make the tip very thin. I've seen that on a few casts. They take out a big flake to thin down the tip. Like they'll take out a big flake like this to thin down the tip. Now I just got to fix whatever symmetry I messed up. Yeah, I'm getting sleepy actually, or something. All right, let's see. Yeah, like that. Okay, so the tip is really thin, then it gets fat real fast. Okay, that's what I've noticed on Clovis. All right, so now it's just a matter of removing some of the dull spots. I don't have to remove the wonkiness. And then grind it. Sometimes you'll see that they favored one side. You know, I'll scoop it out more this way. See how it's kind of scooped out right there? They'll do the same thing on the other side. So I just need a big flake right there to match. Or a couple flakes. Anyway, I can scoop it out the same way. And just go over the whole edge one more time with the flaker, and then I'll grind it. I gotta make sure it's nice and straight. That side's pretty straight. It can be straightened up just a little bit more. All right, so let's see.
Okay. Yeah, on the artifacts you can tell that they scraped up on the sides a little bit too, not just the edge. It wasn't just the very edge that was dulled, but they scraped up on the sides too. Aaron Wilson says, what's the smallest point that I've made? You probably wouldn't believe it unless I showed you. Yeah. I made like a 1/3 size, a 1/3 size scalorn point. Is about, I don't know, 3/16 inches long. I think the smallest one I've made is like 3/16. And it's just for a miniature ladle dart or arrow. Yeah. Not that small. 3/16, a little bit over 1/8. I think that's the smallest. Chris Lithic says he can't get enough of this. Cool. Did I finally get the focus to work? I don't know. No, it does it on its own. Okay. So yeah, big flakes toward the end. The edges can be wonky on Clovis like this, but when it gets down to here, it's almost perfectly straight on the real ones. And very well dulled and almost polished down here near the base. And it does have a thinning flake. It's not just not very long or very wide. This one's much wider. And it's longer. But that's what these are. These are thinning flakes. And they get longer and longer as you get more experience. And it takes less time to thin it down. If you can make these thinning flakes from the base longer, you don't have to do anything from the sides to get it thinned down for hafting. So it just saves time if you make a longer flake. But as you get more and more experience, you can make these flakes longer and longer. It's just a matter of experience. So that's how I think it was fitted to straight-sided notches or hafts, right? And probably a deeper notch than this. So I ground it up to about there. I think that's how far these, probably that deep. And this could be for a knife or a handheld spear. I think the smaller Clovises were used for little dart points, but these bigger ones either for a handheld spear or a knife. See, most Clovises are around the 3-inch length range. This is more than that. Yeah, this is 4 1/4. So most Clovises are around 3 inches and 1 inch wide. This is 1 3/8 inches wide by 4. So this looks like either a knife or a spear point. Yeah. To me, this larger size Clovis is a knife or a spear point. Because see, it's the width of my thumb, so that's how I judge what the knives are. Yeah. That knife with the handle is very nice. This one or another one? I got two crude knife handles. I made these the other day. These are both cherry. They're just crude knife handles, but they'll work for this demonstration. It's a little bit stuck. The other knife handles, yeah. I got these, but these are not deep enough. This one, I don't know. That might work. Yeah. The blocky one. Yeah, these are not deep enough. And they're too wide for this particular style. Let's see, where is my... This is a paleo point also from Belize. Same time period as Clovis. Or thereabouts. Not too much difference if there is any. This is a cast of a paleo point from Belize. Same time period. And this actually looks better in the half than this. But you can see that the base is about the same. This little corner is broken off. The width is about the same. Let's see what else. Or let's see. I have a little knife with a handle. You talk about this one here? I'm going to start making these for sale. These little knives with varying sizes of handle, but basic design, the same basic design. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, it's 3 hours. It seems like I need 3 hours to get something finished out on video. I can normally make 2 points in those 3 hours instead of 1. So I might not continue to do that longer live streams. Make sure I cut it down to 2 hours and maybe not talk as much. I see dull spots. That's what I'm doing. Just getting rid of some of the dull spots. Anyway, that'll be available in the auction. Aaron Wilson, happy I made the live stream today. Been a while. Usually watch them later. Nice work as always, Patrick. Thanks for the videos. I've seen most of your earlier content, but love the live stream. Thank you, thank you. Awesome point, Pat, says Chris Lithic. I'm off to shower. I'm covered in glass. Good night, guys. Yep, we'll see you. See you tomorrow. Let's see. So that's what we did tonight. I'm going to check the stream
chat on the other phone. Let's see. Where I can see it more clearly and I can see all of it. All right, let's see. The camera has been clear all night. Smallest point you made, yeah. Andrew is here. Andrew Munns. Wes is spearing it up. Yep. Never did I find anything I really liked. I think I've already read some of these comments. Yeah. Let's see. Prairie goes Ken, great stream point. Very nice point. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you, thank you. All right, we'll see you. See you tomorrow. I'm going to call it a night. I've seen that. I've seen most of these comments. Alrighty. Okay. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.